Celestial Consciousness yoga tutorial is inspired by me. Last night when I was scrolling through my phone on Instagram, on the internet, not being mindful of my activity at all, and my wrist started to hurt. If you've ever taken a class with me, you literally know how annoying I am when it comes to wrist stretches. That's because a lot of us are unaware that we have over 15 muscles and tendons connecting into our inner forearm, our wrists, and our fingers. And in the age of technology, where we're constantly scrolling on our phones, on our tablets, laptops, iPhones, cameras, whatever it may be, we're continuously working through and not being mindful of stretching and moving the tension that's actually in our wrists. Over time, this activity can actually lead to carpal tunnel as well as arthritis when we're older, yet now we're seeing it a lot younger as we continue to move into a technological-based world. So it's super important to be mindful and to make sure we're stretching, moving, and working the muscles in our wrists. So not only are we working through and really prolonging any arthritis or carpal tunnel, but we're making sure that we also don't get muscle atrophy. And when you're 60 years old, you can still open that jar of pickles. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna go through some light wrist stretches that you may hate at first. They're not going to feel good, especially if you've never stretched your wrist or your forearms. I'm always joking in my class that you will make a funny face, but eventually you will start to love these and probably start to stretch your wrists on your own. I'll include a diagram up above from this amazing strength training anatomy book, which has a really good diagram of our wrists and our forearms, and it shows all of the muscles and tendons that kind of attach, so you get a better idea of what you're working through while we go through these exercises. So with that being said, let's stretch our Twitter fingers. So we'll start off in a hero's pose variation by sitting the glutes back onto the heels, keeping the shins parallel and allowing yourself to elevate the glutes on a block, a bolster, a blanket, a book, whatever you may have in your house that creates a little bit of elevation. If there's any infringement or any irritation in the knees or the hips. As we bring ourselves to center, we'll really align and tighten / strengthen through the core, elongating through the spine as if a string was pulling you up from the top of the head and creating space through the rib cage and the diaphragm. As we inhale in, we'll slowly bring the wrist down to the mat. And whether you'd like to stay here or come into a full tabletop position, you're more than welcome to do so. Remember, at the end of the day, this is your practice. Take any modifications and variations that you feel comfortable with or that your body is really calling and asking for to release any tension or built up kinks that you may have within your body. No matter what position that you're in, you'll engage through the core and starting with the wrists down in a neutral position. Kind of just shaking them out back and forth, giving yourself a little sway and just breathing in here. In and out through the nose. And as you create this little rock, start to ground yourself through the fingers, as well as the collective dog hair that is on my mat no matter how many times I sweep. So whether you're in hero's pose variation or tabletop, come into that nice wrist sway, breathing in and out through the nose, and gently just starting to create some motion and momentum in the wrists. Breathing in and out, starting to warm up. I oftentimes like to call these spidey fingers because as the fingers are nice and wide, It allows you to grip through the palm and the fingers while leaving a gap in the ball of the hand, creating a suction cup feel as you sway back and forth. And as we move into our first wrist stretch, you have the option to do one or both hands at the same time. Flipping your palm up and facing the fingers in towards you, slowly place the hand down and know that the more that you press and round through the shoulders, the more pressure you will feel in this stretch. And as you place the weight on the top of the hand, being mindful of the forearm area, go ahead and breathe in, breathe out. Maybe wiggle the fingers. And if you'd like to intensify the stretch, gently lean back, whether you're in tabletop or modified hero's pose. And you can do one or two at the same time. Breathing in and out. We've got a little doggy barking in the background. Shake it out whenever you feel that you've gotten those stretches. If this is your first time stretching the wrists, just be mindful of how long you may hold the pose for the first time and breathing through and checking in with your wrists. The second pose that I often go to is turning your inner forearm away from you, fingers in and palm down, really stretching into all of the inner forearm muscles, tendons, and working into that lower wrist area. Once again, you can do one or two wrists depending on what feels good to you. Rounding through the shoulder creates a deeper level of intensity, and slowly rocking back towards the heels will create an even deeper level of intensity. Remember to breathe. And doing one or two wrists, but making sure that you do both, keeping yourself nice and balanced. Good. Whenever you're done, shake it out, come back to a neutral position. Being mindful, you can always take a break, stretch it out, sit back for a second before moving to the next exercise. The last one that I often will do is taking the hands in, inner forearms facing towards one another, and taking a little bit of a wider stance than shoulder width, or coming into just exactly shoulder width. Fingers may come off of the mat just slightly. And I always joke with my students that we're swag surfing. So what you're gonna do is slowly go to the right and bring it back to center, utilizing the core. Slowly shift your weight towards the left. Bring it back to center. Shift it to the right, back to center, move to the left, back to center, and so on, as many times as you feel necessary to stretch your wrists out. You can even start to play the song in your head, right? And moving back and forth. Shake it out whenever you're done. And slowly pushing yourself back to a seated position. And as you push yourself back to that seated position, shaking the wrist out, maybe rolling the shoulders and the neck, feeling everything all intertwined and connected. Trust me, it does not feel good at first. The first time I did wrist stretches, I was like, what is this? but I promise it gets so much better the more that you are consistent with your practice, with your stretches, with your physical activity and exercise. And this can help you in so many ways and creates longevity and injury prevention versus injury rehabilitation down the road. If you found this video useful at all or have any comments, questions, or concerns, let me know down below. We will be posting more tutorials, videos, vlogs, and things to really help you on your health and wellness journey. And I am so excited to continue to create content that you all find useful, as well as helping you navigate through your mindful everyday life. Be sure to check us out on Instagram as well as Facebook and all of our other resources above or below. Click that subscribe button, and until next time, peace.